What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Crush City Territory. I'm Chandler Rome, joined by Tyler Stafford and Josh Reddick. After um, what was I've been covering the Astros for 8 years. I can't remember a three-game series quite like the one that they just played against the Baltimore Orioles at Dyken Park. They were 4 outs away from getting a perfect game thrown against them on Friday. On Saturday, they played perhaps the worst Major League Baseball game I've ever seen in person this season. And then today, they just got absolutely boat raced 12-0 to end what was, you know, they went 3-3 on a 6-game homestand. Like, let's say that first, but it didn't feel like they went 3-3. They got outscored 44-17 in the 6 games against the Orioles and the Red Sox. It did not feel like a 3-3 homestand, but that is what the final scores say. And again, at the end of the season, they don't ask you how; they just ask you how many. And they got 3 wins, which is really all that matters. But Josh, this was not a work of art. This entire homestand, and certainly not this series against the Orioles.
And they didn't even deserve to win Saturday's game. I mean,
no,
that was a horrible decision by the third baseman. Plenty of time to throw home. And the pitcher was on deck hitting, right?
Correct.
Yeah, the pitcher was waiting on deck, so they definitely shouldn't have walked away with that one. But looking back, it feels like they got swept by the Orioles and lost at least 5 or 6 at home. So nobody probably more happy than everybody in Houston to see that series be done and over with. But we got to see Chaz on the mound twice, so that was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was not something I had on my bingo card, that Chaz McCormick would pitch twice in a 6-game stretch, but here we are. I don't really know where to start here. I think we should start with because fans are always want the positive at the beginning. Yordan Alvarez is going to play for the Corpus Christi Hooks on Tuesday, which is a very, very good sign for a lineup that desperately needs an infusion of something. They need a spark. They need somebody to come back and just energize and mash in this lineup, and Yordan Alvarez can be that guy. Joe Espada saying today that Yordan will report to Corpus Christi on Tuesday to start his rehab assignment. For everyone wondering why it will not be Monday, Monday is the universal off day for minor leaguers, so no minor league baseball is played on Monday. Alvarez will DH on Tuesday. GM Dana Brown said today that he will be off on Wednesday. That is planned. And then they're going to play him on back-to-back days, Thursday and Friday, see how that goes, and then evaluate. But Tyler, this was the news that everyone has been waiting for. But I think, even in my opinion, like, I'm still a little skeptical because of the twists and turns this thing has taken. I don't think I'm going to be confident that he's going to play for the Astros until he is in an Astros uniform and in a major league lineup.
Yeah, I will wait to celebrate until, as we learned with was it McCormick or was it Myers that made it out to center field and then didn't even get to play? Yeah. So Jake. We're going to wait until he swings a bat for the first time in an Astros uniform on the field to celebrate. And I guess we also need to say make it through most of the game without bubble guts, which is what hit Christian Javier today. So we got to see him out there, but I mean, it's a step in the right direction, certainly. And it's just about the only good news that came out of this weekend. That was legally baseball that we watched, and that's about the nicest thing that I can say about that series. That was awful. I mean, I said, look, I watched every single out of the 2013 season. I was in college, and MLB used to have a condensed game that they'd put up after every game that was like half an hour, and it was literally every out. So I watched every
clips of what happened, right?
Yeah. Well, now they do it, but they're like 10 minutes long, and it kind of skips around. They used to have it to where like you saw literally the end of every at bat of every game, and so I watched all of it. And Friday's game might have been the worst game I've ever seen. That was just, especially with the I had a lot of people say, like, didn't you watch Matt Cain throw a perfect? I'm like, Matt Cain was good and the Astros were terrible. This is a team that's in first place in the division against a guy who was 0-10 in his first starts in the big leagues. And they they just looked lost, and there was no energy. It was awful to watch. And then Saturday, they only won because the Orioles did not want to win. That was it. I watched them get a runner on third with no outs in the bottom half of an extra inning game with the Manfred rules and somehow not score, which I don't even know how that's possible. And then the only way they won was a botched double play, which is, that's the perfect way to end that game. That was just awful baseball all around. And today was just unwatchable. Just a truly dead team. It was brutal to watch this weekend. So yes, Yordan coming back is basically the only thing that we have to look forward to. You mentioned Chas McCormick lowered his ERA today to 9, which, fun fact, is lower than Forrest Whitley's career ERA with the Astros. So don't know what to do with that information, but I thought everyone should have it because I know.
You'll have something positive to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Josh, I want your opinion on a couple things. First, let's get back to Yordan real quick. A lot of fans, when they're told he's going on a rehab assignment, their first inclination is, maybe because he's been out so long, their first inclination is, why not just get him back in the big league lineup? Like, if he's healthy enough to take at bats in Double-A, he's healthy enough to take at bats at the big league level. I know that that's faulty logic, but I'm speaking from the comment section, from people on my social media feeds. Can you explain to people why a rehab assignment would be required for Yordan Alvarez, who has not played in a big league game since May 2nd?
Well, first of all, you got to make sure you're healthy. Like, you don't want to activate him and then have something go wrong. And have a Jake Myers experience, be out there in the first at bat, and then you got to drop him and then put somebody else in there, like it was on the bench that, let's just say like Dubon has the off day. And all of a sudden Yordan comes out, Doobie gets in there in the 4-hole. So it kind of makes sure you're going to make sure you got the right guy healthy. But timing, you got to get your timing back. It doesn't matter if you're facing low A, high A, single A, double A, college, big league pitching. You got to have your timing back. And that's one thing that's all about rehabbing hitters. It doesn't matter the results. It's all about, are you seeing pitches? Are you recognizing pitches? Are you putting good swings on it? So he can go down there for 3 days and go 0 for 10. But if he's hitting the ball and having good at bats, then you bring him up. So it's all about getting your timing and making sure you're healthy. That's literally all it is.
And the weird thing is, like, rehab assignments have become like less and less in vogue, especially for position players recently, because they can do a lot of things. The Astros have done it with their guys. They've sent them to Florida, and they've had minor league guys throw live BP there. You've seen guys when they tried with Yordan the first time, they brought minor league guys to Dyken Park to throw live BP to him, and they were going to activate him a couple of days later. So rehab assignments are, by and large, kind of going by the wayside for position players. Pitchers, you have to do it just because you can't do that at the complex. But because he's been out so long, like, look, if Yordan was out for a month, then I could get on board with, maybe you can skip a rehab assignment. And that's what they were going to do. The first time he faced live BP at Dyken Park, and then they figured out his hand was fractured, they were going to activate him without a rehab assignment, but he hadn't been in a big league game since May 2nd. So I'm okay. I mean, not that my opinion matters, but I think it's you send him on a rehab assignment. This was not a situation where you want to take any chances, especially with the history that's going on here. And Tyler said one other thing about the weekend. He a couple of times referred to them as they looked dead. They looked lifeless. I want a former player's perspective on this. I always kind of cringe when I hear that, because baseball is the one sport where, like, if you're not hitting, it doesn't look good. Like, if you're not playing well in football or basketball, like, you can still see hustle. You can still see effort. You can still see, like, big hits. Like, even the football teams that win 2 games every year, you can see effort and energy. Mm-hmm. Same thing with basketball. That's just not the case with baseball. So I think a lot of times when a team has a bad weekend or when a team has a bad stretch, it's automatically, they're lifeless. They have no energy. But it's hard in baseball to judge that, just because this is not a physical sport. It's not a sport where you are physically showing energy, but it's got to take a toll though, Josh, right? Like, when you've got a weekend like this where Friday you almost get perfect games, Saturday you win the game, but you play 12 innings and you don't play well in those 12 innings. And then Sunday was just a disaster. Like where's the balance there of like judging effort as opposed to just this is a team that just couldn't hit for 3 days?
I mean, it just breaks down to not being able to hit for 3 days. I mean, I don't really think even if you're going out there feeling dead, like you don't have 100% in you, the effort level is definitely going to be there. So bad stretch. And that's the way it looks at it. It gets magnified more and more as we get into the social media and more camera angles of everything. So effort level is definitely there, but when a team plays bad, it can look at several different ways how you want to view things. So when they're not doing everything right, when they're not winning, when they're not catching any breaks, everything goes against them the wrong way. It looks completely wrong because you're used to seeing these guys be so successful, and when they came over right after the deadline, they started off pretty good. So it kind of gave everybody a little bit of a boost. So hope on it now they kind of do this after beating the Red Sox 2 out of 3. So it's I think it's just more or less we're tired of the roller coaster. Like find an even plane to even out on, as opposed to these gullies and mountains. Just find more of an even keel spot. I think is what people want to expect to see. Maybe.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, look, a lot has happened since Yordan has been out. The last game we played was May 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
To give you some context, we didn't even have an American Pope yet. That was a whole week later. That's how long it's been since Yordan has played Major League Baseball, which feels like a lifetime ago. But I mean, yeah, he's gonna need to take some swings in a real game, get that rhythm going. Because Josh, as you said, the last report was what he took like 8 live at bats in West Palm. I mean, he needs to get up, sit back down, warm up, get in the field. Yeah, get in the field. I mean, as you say, got to wear them cleats around. Apparently that's the hardest part.
I mean, being in shape is a whole lot different than being in baseball shape. I mean, you're even for a DH, you're on your spikes again consistently, and especially there, like you're walking around in a dugout the whole time. And usually in a minor league ballpark, those dugouts aren't linked to the clubhouses, so you're really stuck where you are if you're a DH. So it can get a little hectic. I was never a fan of the DH spot myself, but it takes a special kind of crazy to be able to pull off the DH spot. But just standing around those spikes, man, your feet have to get used to being in them for a while because, I mean, let's be real. How many times has Yordan put on metal spikes since May?
Look, if the issue is the spikes in a dugout is a problem, I am an expert stroller pusher at this point. If the Astros need me to come in with my double Zoe and just push Yordan around in a dugout, I'm willing to do it. I'll do whatever it takes to see Yordan on a Major League Baseball field again.
Absolutely.
I'm happy for the Hooks current roster because they're about to eat well for at least 3 games for as long as he's there. Yordan's going to treat them very well. Good for Whataburger Field. Good for the city of Corpus Christi because there's about to be a bunch of people at that ballpark next week or this coming week.
Do you think he hits a home run? Because it's very hard to do it left-handed in Corpus Christi. Have you played there, Josh?
Yeah, I played, I think, 1 or 2 rehab games there.
It's hot. That wind blows like 30 miles an hour in from right
Even
field.
I was putting balls out to left center in batting practice. I was like, yeah.
Well, left center, sure. But I need to see him pull one to right field into that water park over there.
He probably could.
He definitely could. That's true.
If there's any left-handed hitter that can do it, it's this guy. Speaking of lefties, we'll talk about a left-handed pitcher that spoke for the first time on Saturday since spraining the capsule in his left shoulder. We'll talk about Josh Hader and what is next for him right after this message from DraftKings.
The dog days of summer means MLB is fully heating up, and so is your shot to score big. Download the Pick 6 app for the easiest way to turn your baseball takes into actual cash. It's crazy simple. Just pick more or less on the stats for 2 or more of your favorite players, and boom, you're in the mix for big cash prizes. No gimmicks, no weird rules. And get this, all new Pick 6 customers will instantly get $50 $50 in bonus picks on just a $5 entry. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app right now and use code FOUL. That's code FOUL. New customers play $5 and get $50 in bonus picks instantly. Ride the upside where a few bucks can turn into a bag. Only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. One per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. 8/24/25 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Two things. That's the first Tyler Stafford promo I've heard since being on the show. Very honored.
About time.
Yeah.
For those that didn't realize this, there's no microphone hanging from this shirt or a hat or a beanie. So I want to say thank you, Tyler, for donating this lovely speaker and getting my 2015 Apple Mac up and running.
Mm-hmm. And more importantly, Josh, just putting in work on you in ping pong. That's what I want to bring up.
I was hoping this wasn't going to come out, but you know what? Since we're there, I want to hear your mouth say it, that you weren't expecting the challenge you got.
You were very good. But listen, there's one thing in the world that I do well, and it is attempt to play ping pong. I was nervous, but I did go over to Josh's house and fix his. I felt like the Apple genius over there, just fixing a computer, installing a microphone. I'm going to come over and troubleshoot it again. We'll get it up and running. But
the record show, it did take 2 out of 3.
Yeah, you got one.
For game 2.
Southpaw,
man. Southpaw got me, Chandler. I didn't realize he was a southpaw.
Speaking of Southpaw, you played ping pong with Josh Hader in Corpus, right, Tyler?
I did, and Joe Musgrove was the best. He was the one that did. But look, I was the ringer in Corpus Christi. They'd bring me in whenever they got bored playing each other. That's what I was expecting, Josh. You were much better than the minor leaguers I played in Corpus Christi. I don't know if that makes you feel any better.
Like I told you, man, in Oakland, that's what we had. I played Covelli Race Crisp way too often and got my butt whooped. That's the best ping pong player I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, and that's the norm. I mean, if you're in the minor leagues, there's usually a ping pong table or a foosball table rolling around. So when you're down in free time, if you've ever been to the Oakland Coliseum's home side, you know a whole lot going on over there.
Well, I'm now taking all challengers. Any other major leaguers that want to play ping pong, hit me up. Josh can vouch for me. I'm at least good enough to take on a challenge.
Well, if another Josh is listening to this, Josh Hader will have some time to challenge you to ping pong if he so desires, because he will not throw a baseball for the next 3 weeks after he was diagnosed with a sprain of the capsule in his left shoulder. He sought multiple opinions on the injury. Josh Hader said without prompt that one of the things he was most excited about was that he was able to avoid surgery. Then he was asked if surgery was on the table. He said no, and it was never really discussed, but he basically said that was his biggest fear when this happened, that it was going to be something that needed surgery and that this was going to be a very, very long-term thing. As it turns out, as of this moment, it is not. But Josh Hader, I'm just going to call him Hader because every time I say Josh, like I'm gonna look at Reddick, and this is going to get So Hader spoke on Saturday in the clubhouse, and it was very interesting conversation. He said outright that he's thinking about longevity with this, and this is a guy that the Astros have under contract for 3 more years after this one. And he made it pretty clear that he is going to be very prudent with that in mind, to think of, not just maybe this season, but the 3 that follow it. That does not mean he's not going to try to get back this season. He did all but rule out a return this regular season only because he's not throwing for 3 weeks. And that 3 weeks started now. It didn't start, last week when he last pitched. That starts now. So he's not throwing for 3 weeks. And then to hear Hader say it, he's going to need 3 more weeks after that to build up. The season, the's only 6 weeks left in the regular season.
And that's assuming he's ready to go after 3 weeks, which is a big if.
Goes right.
Yeah.
Right. And to be clear, Josh Hader did say he's going to get more imaging after this 3-week inactivity, this 3 week of no throw, which is an important note when you consider the Astros' history of re-imaging injuries. But Josh Hader said he will get new imaging in 3 weeks. After that, they'll determine kind of what the throwing program looks like. There is a chance he would return for a potential postseason series. Hader said that is something that he would like to do. He would like to be a part of the playoff push, but he made it pretty clear that he's not going to be stupid with this. Like, he is not going to rush, and nor should he, because again, he has got to think about what the future is these next 3 years under contract. And they've invested a lot of money in him. He is a guy that wants to make a return on that investment. He's been very, very clear about that the Astros committed to him. He wants to commit to them as much as possible. And sometimes that means you got to sacrifice maybe a short-term goal for the greater good. And that's the vibe I got from him. I'm not here to tell you that he's never pitching again this season. If everything goes right and he feels right and the Astros are still in this thing toward the middle of October, I see a situation where it could happen. But I would proceed very cautiously with any thought that Josh Hader is going to pitch again for this team this season. And Josh Reddick, I think that's the prudent way to look at it. And you're somebody that you were on a 4-year deal once, you're on a 4-year free agent deal once. You understand when a team commits to you, kind of the responsibility you also have to commit back to them. I think this is a prudent way to look at it by Hader.
For sure, yeah. I mean, fans may not want to hear this, but winning is very important. But at the end of the day, you got to look out for yourself. Like, if you want to continue to stay in this game and succeed at it, you got to look out for yourself. Because I've been on both ends of that. I've been to where I've come back way too early where I shouldn't have, and it affected my performance. And then there's been, since that injury, it was always about making sure that I'm going to come back ready to go. And that was I love that he's saying all of these things, talking about being committed to the team, being committed to himself as well. Because he does have 3 more years. Like, if it was a 1-year, 2-year deal, you know what? Maybe it's a different story, but this is a guy that they need for 3 more years after this. And they've got a very capable guy to close games for him while he's gone. Brian Abreu should be able to step up no problem in this role. But for Hader to come out and say these things publicly, I think that's the best thing for him. And I love how he said he's going to get more imaging done in 3 weeks too. I mean, just because for him, I've talked about on this podcast, it's not just always about the training staff or the medical staff. At some point, it's about the player too. You have to look out for what's best for you, whether they tell you it's okay or not. No, it's up to me. This is my body. This is my investment, my money. My body is worth all this money. I'm going to make sure I get it right. So good on him to make sure he gets everything where he needs to be. But, regular season's out for sure. I love it. In 3 weeks could line up perfectly for him to come back. For those that don't know, there's plenty of injections to get in this game, especially when October rolls around, that make you feel better than Superman.
Better than Spider-Man.
Yeah.
No, better than Superman.
Tyler,
yeah, I mean, look, if he can pitch in October, that would be a straight up miracle. I am just assuming that is not happening. I mean, that would be incredible. But I did just Google shoulder capsule strain, and the top result is from the Cleveland Clinic, and it is called frozen shoulder, which I don't like the sound of that. Folks, that's what my wife gives me. Am I right?
I don't have that problem.
Right? And it takes a whole lot longer than 3 weeks to fix that. Sorry, Alicia. I know you listen to this. Love you. Bye.
But seriously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's not good. Look, it's not good. He throws the baseball with that shoulder. I don't know if you've noticed. So it's going to be very tough for him to come back. But again, the best news is that it's not something that needs surgery and he's out all of next year already. Now that could happen. We could get imaging in 3 weeks.
I mean, hey, and Google says surgery recovery is through 6 weeks to 3 months. So
okay, well, Google says it. I mean, at this point, they might do imaging and find Yordan's broken bone in his shoulder. So who knows what's going to happen?
Hader's shoulder, you mean?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, somehow it's transferred into his shoulder. But yeah, I mean, just hoping for the best. It's funny to say that this is best case scenario, but I mean, when it came out and it's shoulder capsule, and you're like, oh goodness, this might be something that he's gone for a while with. I mean, even the hope of maybe he can pitch at the end of the playoffs is much better than I was expecting when all this was announced.
This is also his first trip to the disabled list, or whatever you call it now,
Yeah.
IL in his career, correct?
He has been the portrait of health.
Yeah.
He did go. I mean, he went on the COVID IL in 2021. It doesn't count. He tested positive for COVID, but this is the first physical ailment that has sent him to the.
That's another good sign too. Like this could be the first minor step for him to come back. So that's a really good sign that it is the first one.
And I think it's interesting to talk about it in the prism of, we just said he had never been on the IL in a 9-year major league career. He has been more open in his year and a half with the Astros to throwing multiple innings. This was something that when he was his tail end of his career with the Brewers and then with the Padres, he told them, I'm only throwing 1 inning. And it was in part because of some things that he felt were wrong to him in arbitration, which that's a whole nother podcast topic.
Yeah.
And
we can talk for 2 hours about that one.
Correct. And the other one was that he wanted to protect him. He wanted to protect his health. He said that on the record that he wanted to preserve his health for when he went to free agency, and went to free agency, got the massive contract from the Astros. And then when the Astros gave him that contract, he said, as we started this segment with, they committed to me, so I'm going to commit to them and be available in whatever capacity. He went more than 1 inning 7 times last season, and has gone more than 1 inning 7 times this season. And after the last one his last outing was a 2-inning, 36-pitch appearance at Yankee Stadium. Hader said he woke up the next morning feeling sore, but you're supposed to feel sore when you pitch. Every pitcher wakes up the next morning feeling sore. That's not an indictment on anything. He warmed up on Sunday to get into the game. Astros scored 4 runs in the 9th inning, so the save situation went away, so Hader didn't pitch. But he kind of intimated that he felt good warming up in the bullpen, but again, had the normal kind of soreness that you always kind of have. Got to the ballpark Monday, was doing some plyo work, and said, he felt something that he knew was not right. And he even said, he goes, I know what general soreness feels like. I know what muscle fatigue feels like. He goes, this felt different. So it does beg the question, like, is he done throwing multiple innings, or do we think that for because we just talked about, he is approaching this rehab as a guy that's balancing the present and the future, because he knows he has 3 more years left on this contract. Do you think we see him make himself as available as he has been the first year and a half, or do you think this is something that could impact whether he's willing or whether the Astros are willing to throw him for multiple innings?
I think once he's healthy, he's going to pitch as much as his arm doesn't hurt. I mean, obviously, in the short term, he's not going to be doing multiple innings, but right. I mean, in July of next year, if his arm's feeling fine, I don't see that being an issue, especially because I don't think that's what caused this. Again, Josh Hader is not incapable of throwing 35 pitches. Relievers are not like magically weaker than starting. It's just a different buildup and the way that you pitch. But I know I've talked about this, but I watched this man throw 100 pitches in Corpus Christi. He is capable of doing it. That's just hasn't been the role that he's been in. So yeah, I mean, once he's feeling better, I don't see that being an issue. But right now, I just want him to throw 1 pitch for the Astros. That's all I care about right now.
The high fastball?
Yeah, sure. I don't care. He can pick any of them. All 2 of his pitches. He can pick one of them.
He got a changeup.
No, he does not. He does about once a week, and
step in the box and tell me it's not a changeup.
Oh no! I mean, I would.
I know you want to argue about it. Let's go.
No, oh my gosh, I would pee my pants in the left-handed batter's box against no chance am I stepping in there.
Not a comfortable one. It is not.
No.
It was interesting to hear, because he was asked, whether he thought the workload and whether he thought the change in usage contributed to this. And I mean, he said what he had to say. He goes, how can it not? I mean, it's obvious. Like they're like when you change that much, and just the role of a reliever as well. And Hader even said this. The role of a reliever inherently, like, you don't get a ton of rest. Like, you are available most nights. Like, the only time you're not available is when you've pitched 2 straight games. You're not going to go 3 in a row unless it's in September or unless it's in the postseason. So
poor guys play 3 in a row.
So inherently, the usage impacted. But to say, and again, I want to make this clear, to say that he strained his shoulder, or he sprained the capsule in his shoulder because he threw 36 pitches in 2 innings at Yankee Stadium, that's not true. That's just not, pitching is an unnatural art. You're not supposed to be able to do this. And pitchers break down. Pitchers are built to break down. And as we said on the last pod, it is a minor miracle that Hader did not require a trip to the injured list before this.
Yep.
Like, that speaks to his preparation. It speaks to his body, how well he takes care of his body. And quite frankly, it speaks to a little bit of luck. Because you got to
being a freak, being a little bit of a freak, being freakish, and just being able to get away with it.
Yeah, he is a freak. Big freak. Josh, how many no-hitters have you played in?
2. 1 by JV in Toronto, then the combined one at home.
Yeah, the Sanchez, Biagini, Davinsky, Harris.
Yeah, I think
Biagini.
only
I
2.
forgot he was
never
in
had
that.
one in Boston, never had one in Oakland, LA, or obviously, God forbid, Arizona.
You weren't on the wrong side of one?
No, never.
Wow.
Nope.
Because you were always getting hits.
Well,
Famously,
the
5
closest
hits.
I actually came to was in Dodger Stadium. I didn't play. Matt Moore threw 8 2/3 perfect innings against us, and then Corey Seager got a blue pit with 2 strikes in the 9th.
Oh, it was perfect. That was perfect.
I think it was perfect. It might have been no hitter, but I'm pretty sure it was perfect. Like 130 pitch semi-perfect innings. I'm pretty sure.
I mean,
without looking it up, can either one of you say the man's name who almost threw a perfect game against the Astros 2 days ago?
I mean, I can.
Morgan is it Morgan or something? I don't even know.
I don't remember his first name. His last name's Young. What's his first name, Chandler?
Brandon.
Oh, good job. Look at us. We almost got it.
Brandon Young, an undrafted.
Sure.
I mean, this was, it would have been.
COVID draft.
And that's why they made him look so good. That's their MO.
I don't think it's hyperbole to say if he would have finished that perfect game, it would have been maybe the most unlikely event in baseball history.
Philip Umber was pretty bad too.
Hold on. Philip Umber was a dog.
He was pretty darn good for a little while, though. Like, Phil Humber wasn't bad always.
Yeah.
You just said it yourself. My man was 0-10 to start his career. Like, yeah.
Like,
not like you Darvish is out there in 2013 pitching to the trash throws.
Like, Philip Umber was a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. He didn't have a good big league career, but like, that dude was talented. And I'm not
third overall pick.
I'm not trying to sit here and trash Brandon Young, who threw the game of his life on Friday, and that kid deserves a ton of credit. But like, that it's not hyperbole to say that would have been one of the most unlikely events in baseball history. When you put it all together, a first place team, a team that I know there's going to be a lot of people that roll their eyes at this, but have the second highest batting average in the American League. This is a team that can hit. Like, I know they didn't show it this weekend, but they can hit. They've got at least one Hall of Famer in the lineup every day. Maybe they'll have a couple more by the time all the careers shake out, but they're starting a Hall of Famer every day. And the Orioles completely sold at the deadline, are a shell of themselves. And to watch that unfold was I've never been more stunned in a ballpark than I was watching that. And then if he sets his feet on that PFP, like I'm convinced he gets it.
Or if he airmails it worse.
Sure. If he doesn't rush, he gets him by like 2 or 3 steps.
Yeah, I mean, or if he makes it look worse. It was the perfect combination of like he was close enough that they could rule it a hit. But if he just like eats it coming off the mound, maybe they give him an error or something. But I mean, gosh, that was awful to watch. Look, I watched the whole Darvish Marwin Gonzalez perfect game breakup, but that team was garbage. Like you said, the Astros are a good team. They just, I mean, they looked like they were sleepwalking. What do you have, like 60 pitches in the 7th inning? Like, he was just steamrolling everybody.
And you got, I mean, Josh, did you watch it?
No.
Did you watch the highlights?
I did watch the highlights, yes.
Okay, from what you saw from the highlights, like, was it good stuff? Like, 'cause I couldn't really tell. Like, I mean, he commanded it very well. Like,
he had great command. I think guys just got over anxious. It just felt like the team was just over anxious in the box. Like, I don't know, it just didn't feel like everybody had the right approach. And this kid was just where the guys had their off night, he was had on his on night, and that's what you get when you get everybody that's off their night and you can throw everything well. Because in baseball, you can have a horrible day and a pitcher still throw one, and you just get lucky and slap it the other way. But when you have those kind of games where this guy's literally pitching his butt out, and you're just up there trying to grind to touch the baseball, it becomes a whole different factor.
No, he did not have great stuff. Let me go on the record for that. That was not a man just dominating another. No, it was just a garbage approach. The Astros were just embarrassing. It was so bad. I mean, it was awful. That was not. Look, no disrespect to Lumberton High School legend Brandon Young, but that was not him dominating a team. That was just awful hitting all around. It was bad, man. I don't know. I don't ever want to see that again. That was rough. Fun fact, he has literally the worst off-speed run value of anyone in baseball for StatCast. He's in the first percentile.
I don't know what that means, but sure.
It's bad is the point.
He's not good at. I don't know what it means.
Yeah. So he look. Congrats to him. That was awesome. His parents were there, I believe, which is awesome.
His mom looked pissed.
Well, she's upset. She spent all this time going to his games, and he came to throw a perfect game. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, his mom.
Think of how many pony league
like
games
something
she
my
sat
wife
through.
would do. That's something my wife would do. I'd have 8 innings of perfect baseball, and then I'd get yelled at when I got home.
Yeah, I was expecting to leave in the 4th when you got yanked after giving up 7 runs. You made me sit here the whole game.
Exactly.
And then, like, I mean, Josh, I'm sure you can attest to this. You've never played in one against you, but like, it's got to creep into their mind too. They're probably looking up in like the 5th inning, and it's like, oh, they maybe don't know the perfect game's going on, but they're probably like,
they know.
I would know. I'd know in the 2nd inning if I'd made it that far.
When that 5th rolls around, there's no talk about it, but everybody's watching, going, "Oh." It's definitely thought about, and then as the innings go on. I mean, everybody gets it. Everybody sees that big fat goose egg up there, and everybody realizes and recognizes when you're sending 3 guys to the plate and putting your glove right back on.
I need the Astros collectively to take a real big nap and come back in the next series rested, because they looked like they were just sleeping this whole weekend. It was, now granted, they may all have the Black Plague. Chandler, how are you feeling? You've been in the clubhouse.
I'm fine.
How's your tummy?
I'm fine. I don't know if it's that either, but like, Pena didn't play Friday, got in the game at the end Saturday because he was dealing with something. Christian Javier left today's game with what they described as an illness. Joe Espada, it was a very odd post game today. I'm not sitting here trying to play conspiracy theorist. I'm really not. Don't get me wrong. I'm just going to tell you what happened. Joe Espada said that, Christian Javier just came off the mound and said he didn't feel well. We tried to ask, did he report to the ballpark sick? And just all they would say was he came off the mound and said he didn't feel well. And then in the clubhouse, we were told that he was off-site seeing doctors, so he would not speak to the media. It is worth noting that the velocity on all of his pitches was down around 2 miles an hour. Again, if he's fatigued, that can happen from an illness. Like if he's sick and he's fatigued, that happens. And Christian Javier is also a pitcher that velocity doesn't really matter with him. Like obviously if he's throwing 86, it's a problem, but because of the extension, because of the IVB and the hop he gets on the fastball, like he can throw 91 and it comes in looking 95, 96. He can have success when his velocity is down. You saw it today.
Yeah.
He got through those 3 innings, and I think he only gave up 1 run. Yeah, because the Sanchez robbed the grand slam. But I mean, it was very odd. And, hopefully for Christian Javier's sake, it is just a virus or a thing that he can pass in 24, 48 hours and be fine. But just a very odd all around day. It didn't have great vibes after the game.
Yeah, no, it was not good. Now, listen, the Astros medical staff has been under quite a bit of heat this year. I would say the issue has been incompetence, not lying. If he came off and said, "I don't feel well," and Joe Espada said he doesn't feel well, he's seeing a doctor because he doesn't feel well, I am inclined to believe that. I don't think that if his arm was hurting, they would make up a lie about him not feeling well. I think he just came off and didn't feel good, and that's what it is. And so until we hear otherwise, I will give them the benefit of the doubt on that side of things. I assume that you were telling the truth about that, because there's no reason to lie. Like if his arm was hurting, they would say he's got a case of the arm hurts or whatever, and then do some imaging in a week. But that's not what happened. Yeah, sure, whatever. But yeah, I mean, that stuff happens. I get it. We also know he loves coffee, so maybe it was just running through him. We've all been there, Look, he'll be all right. Hopefully, it's just an illness thing. But
Pena was sick too, wasn't he? Wasn't
yeah,
yeah.
So you never know, man. You're always around those guys, and freaking working out, sweating, everything gets in the vicinity of everybody. So maybe he just caught it. And
were you on the team when Brad Peacock had to go on the IL with hand, foot, and mouth disease?
I was.
And now, as a parent, you know how terrifying that is.
Very terrifying. Luckily,
it's so scary. Yeah.
He got it from his kids.
Yeah.
And like, you guys didn't obviously, you guys didn't let him come to the clubhouse for I didn't see Brad Peacock for 3 weeks because he had hand, foot, and mouth disease. So it gets weird in there. Mention maybe they can get some sleep for the next series. It's not going to be easy. They are going to go to Detroit and go play 3 games at Comerica Park against AJ Hinch, Tarek.
3.5-hour flight, sleep on the plane.
They're going to they'll get Tarek Skubal on Tuesday against Hunter Brown, and that will be must-see television. Tarek Skubal and Hunter Brown, probably 1-2 on a lot of Cy Young ballots right now. If you look at all the counting stats, the Astros damaged Garrett Crochet's Cy Young candidacy on this homestand. That was probably the lone positive to come out of it, was that they did that. But Detroit they're really good. They're a tough out. You look at their lineup, obviously they have Tarek Skubal, who is the best pitcher in baseball. They don't have a ton on the position player side that jumps out at you as oh man, this dude's a superstar. Riley Green was an all-star, but he's had a pretty terrible second half. Javi Baez was an all-star center fielder. Who knows where he'll be playing when they get there. But it's a team that does a lot of things really well. They seize every platoon advantage. AJ runs a lot of mix and match lineups. He finds spots with his bullpen where he can match great. I mean, Josh, you played for AJ. You know how great of a tactician and a strategist he is in game and late game. This is going to be a tough test. They get Jack Flaherty on Monday. They get Tarek Skubal on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, a matchup of the 2 Astros World Series winning pitchers, Charlie Morton against Framber Valdez. Man, Charlie Morton, what a great human being.
He is so awesome. Every day you walk in the car. How you doing, Chuck? Today may be the day, Red. For what? Arm blows out. Okay, Chuck, good luck, buddy. Hey, have you ever good one, pal? All right, Chuck, you do your thing, babe. Go out there.
I feel like he is reluctantly pitching. I think he wanted to retire 5 years ago, and he just keeps accidentally being good at baseball, and he keeps having to go out there.
Well, he can still realize that his ball moves this much at 94 miles an hour.
Yeah.
46.
He really turned it around too, because if you watched him in April with the Orioles, the team the Astros just saw, you'd have probably thought his career was over. And to watch him turn around and get traded at the deadline to a contender, good for Charlie Morton, one of the best people in baseball, one of the best people you will ever meet in the sport. So it'll be a tough one for the Astros coming up. And then they go from Detroit and they get 4 games against this same Orioles team that just did not show much fear this weekend in taking a series at Dyken Park. So it'll be an interesting one. If you've got time to pass and if you've got disposable income that you'd like to do things with, you can shop at crushcityterritoryshop.com. Buy some merch. I've got my coffee mug on the way. I'm very excited for that. I'll do anything for a good coffee mug. So I've got mine coming. We're still waiting on the hats. When the hats are live, that will be the first thing I let you guys know about, because I know a lot of people are wondering about the hats. But while you wait on them, go to crushcityterritoryshop.com. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can scan that QR code and shop to your heart's desire and get us to a point where we can start doing some giveaways, some things like that to help you guys out, to get you some merch. As always, we appreciate the following along. We appreciate you guys listening. We appreciate the outpouring of support. You can follow me on X at Chandler_Rome. You can follow Josh at JRedDubDeuce, and Tyler is at Tyler C. Stafford. As always, please rate and review us on Apple and Spotify. Please, you can comment on the Spotify episodes if you'd like. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get notified every time we post a new video. Like the videos, they help as well. That helps as well to spread the knowledge, spread the word. We will be back next week to recap what the Astros do against a fellow American League contender in Detroit. And then who knows, maybe Brandon Young will pitch again in Baltimore and we'll get to see some history against the Astros. But until then, we'll talk to you later. Thanks for listening.
See you.
Bye.